Hi everyone, I hope you're doing super well. Today we are going to do something that I have been putting off for a while, and I know I say that all the time, but this time I'm serious. I am talking about the windows that face my living room. Those ones right there. I need to apply some new weatherproofing tape to them because it's getting cold here in Denver. So let's get started. Welcome back, and if you are new to my channel, my name is Kevin, and I am the human that was assigned to this life-size terrarium to take care of all these plants. If you haven't subscribed to my channel before, please do so before we move on. That way you can see more fun and interesting planty content just like this. But here's the thing. Today we need to weatherproof my windows because I did it last winter and it was effective, but the problem is that I didn't really do a great job with it aesthetically. Like you can see on the window, there is just like some of that tape that is left over. And the problem becomes is that as we start to move from fall closer into winter, now that we're into November, I'm starting to deal with cold weather here in Denver. Recently, we had a blitz of a snowstorm, a cold snap come through, which dropped temperatures down to 26 degrees Fahrenheit for a couple of days, and it brought plenty of snow with it. You know who does not like cold temperatures and snow? That would be my tropical houseplants. But the problem is that I have to have them close up against the windows over here in my living room because it's really the only source of good light that comes in, and they're western facing, looking out towards the Rocky Mountains here in Colorado and Coors Field. I live in downtown Denver, if you've never been to Denver, Colorado before, just to give you proximity. But western-facing windows are great during the summer and late spring, but once summer's over, I'll tell you what, the light just goes away, and then it becomes this big issue, and it's so frustrating because I have so many beautiful plants, and I want to give them as much light as they can possibly get, but I also want to make sure that there are no little cold drafts coming in, which tends to happen with my windows. Now I live in a good building, nice building, but you know, it doesn't matter how nice your building is that those cold drafts can appear. So we are going to fix it up. But in order to do that, what I need to do is I need to move all of these crates forward and the plants. That way I can get up to the windows and take care of this once and for all. Because I've been putting it off for months until that cold snap happened and I saw how my plants reacted, and I need to get going because we are currently in a nice stretch of 65-degree Fahrenheit temperatures here in Denver, at least for the next couple of days before more cold and potentially snow comes in by the weekend. So I'm going to get to it, and rather than put you guys through all of the nonsense of me having to move all these plants out, we're just going to do a time lapse. All right, that didn't take as long as I thought it would, which is a good thing because one thing that I did fail to take into account here is the fact that daylight saving time just happened, and because of that, the sun is setting so much earlier now. As I record this, it is 4:42 p.m. Mountain Time here in Denver, Colorado, so I guess we just have to, you know, keep on going with it, so that'll be fine. It's been setting earlier every single day, and my plants are not fans of it. That's why I installed these grow lights during one of the last episodes that I did with you guys, but apparently I should have held off because I needed to unscrew them. So there we go. You know, it is what it is. I am going to put some more water inside of this humidifier over here before we carry on, because it's not that it's difficult to get to this humidifier over here. It's just that I'd rather not have to, you know, I don't know, move past this fiddly fig, which causes no problems, but in this instance, it's a problem to me. Move this chair over here, and you'll notice that I didn't really like move all of these crates out of the way, because I did want to make sure that I knew where to put everything once I start putting everything back together. I did take pictures, by the way, beforehand, though, just so I would have a better idea, but, you know, just to be safe. And also, I didn't really want to have to mess around with moving everything and all that good stuff, so hopefully, this works out well. We'll see. Usually my concoctions or ideas don't do as well as I had really hoped they would, but alas. I do want to start, though, I think, by focusing in on this area right here, these windows, and then these ones over here, because that's really like where I've noticed the most amount of like of issues with the cold drafts coming in. Like the frosting on the windows happens on this side, and so I want to take down all of this old tape here and not fall, which could happen. So, you know, it is what it is. I'll do anything for my plants, anything, but I won't do that. It's a little Meatloaf for those of you who are too young to know of the genius known as Meatloaf. Fun story, when I lived in Syracuse, New York, before moving to Denver, Colorado, I went to the New York State Fair one year, as one does when they live in Syracuse, and I got to see Meatloaf perform live on stage, and you know who his opening act was? This is crazy to think this was his opener. Cyndi Lauper. That's right. It was Cyndi Lauper and Meatloaf, and Meatloaf was the main act, and Cyndi Lauper was the opener, which I thought would be reversed, but in this crazy world we live in, that was not the case. Okay, let's see. And I wonder in the comments below, because I check your guys' comments and read them like non-stop, as soon as I see a notification come in on my phone, if there's a new comment from one of you folks on my videos, I immediately go and read it if I see the notification in time. If not, I get to it pretty quickly when I do see it. So I'm curious, in the comments below, if you would tell me, how do you go about like making sure that your home and your windows and doors and everything is winterized, to help protect your plants? I'm curious to know, because is there a simpler solution that you guys have found? I'm just so curious. What I do also is that on my areas that have like leaky drafts or anything like that, like down below, I roll up old towels and I put them down there as well. So that really helps out with the situation I found. But yeah, tell me in the comments, because I'm curious. I'm always curious to know, like, what are you folks doing? And is it something we can share here in our little plant community that we've created together? That way I can mention it in a future video to share with others who might be looking for alternative routes to take when it comes to winterizing and making sure that our homes are nice and secure for our plants. Whew. I did need to grab that little plastic trash bag that I grabbed over here. Boy, I will tell you what, this sun is setting very quickly, and it is a lovely, lovely little evening past those Rocky Mountains over there, you know. So now that I have things moved around a little bit more, just need to move this guy out of the way so we can get this over into here, and I can get over towards that window over there, because, you know, it's important to make sure I'm doing this correctly. Okay, so now that we have this over here, should be able to climb up pretty easily. I say that now, and then I will regret saying it, because, you know, life, my friends, is full of regrets. I have nothing to add to that, so yeah. I'm curious, though, if you guys have run into any draft issues that maybe you've had in your homes, and what are those draft issues? Also, please put it in the comments below, because I remember when I first moved into this unit 3 years ago, and I'm on the top floor, on the 7th floor of my building. And so I'm curious to know, because when I first moved in here, I had a lot of cold drafts that I just didn't realize, like when I first moved in, and it did create quite a bit of issues for my plants. In fact, it was so bad that I literally had plants that their leaves, once they felt just even like a smidge of a cool draft, would just start curling up, and it became such a big issue. And so, yeah, it was bad. And so that's when I initially went and started doing this to my windows just to make sure. And then that summer I had my building come in and they did some stuff to the windows, which really helped. But I just like to make sure that I'm extra sure with when it comes to my plants, because I don't want them to get hurt or anything like that, because that would just be awful, just awful. And I have lost the bag yet again, so here I go. Good news! I found the bag. Oh, it was next to my computer, you know, where I left it. So, go me! Yay! Okay, so yeah, it was more so like my my Philodendron Gigantum, and that was more of an issue in my bedroom because that's where I was keeping that plant at the time. And it was a fairly big plant. It got really big. But then I had it close to the window. And I'll tell you what, like I would have the heat on at night when it would get down to our cold temps. And even then, like even just the slightest little draft would destroy that thing's leaves. And they are, I guess, I mean, even though they're pretty decent, I mean, they're gigantic, hence its name, Philodendron Gigantum, but they're not as thick as other philodendron leaves of that plant size are. And so that's really, I think, what caused it to kind of just, you know, freeze over and just all of a sudden just like die off one after another, was because of that the thinness to its leaves. But I'm curious, which of your guys' plants tend to have the biggest issues? Like, is it your anthurium? Is it your alocasia? Just, I'm curious to know, because this will be my first winter where I have alocasia. I think maybe I had like one alocasia, maybe like last year, but definitely not as many as I have now, which is probably around, I would say, 10 to 12. And so I'm curious to see how those guys are going to do. And granted, I don't have the issues like I did when I first moved in here, so hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, I will run the heat at night when it is a really cold night. And out of curiosity also, this is another thing for you guys to fill me in the comment section, is how cold does it get where you are? Now, I don't know how to tell temperature in Celsius, but if you leave it in Celsius, I will Google search it to see what the difference is compared to Fahrenheit, because, you know, we use Fahrenheit here in the United States, you know, and we're not the best. And that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, I'm just curious, how cold does it get where you are? Leave it in the comments below, because I can tell you that we had a stretch of like, I think it was close to like, I don't know, 3 to 4 or 5 days last winter where it got to under 5 degrees here in Denver. It was hovering around 0 degrees Fahrenheit for a couple of days. And that was just like the worst, because the plants didn't like it. I didn't like it. And mind you, I'm the sort of person that even when it's chilly outside, like at night, I like to sleep in the cold. And what I mean by that is, like, I will have the heat, I will have the temperature at like 67 in my apartment, 67 degrees Fahrenheit to 66 degrees. During the winter, I will not drop it down below 65 degrees, but even when it's like that cold. Like, I like to have warm blankets on me, but I also like to have like my feet hanging out and stuff like that. Even though I just like that cold type of feeling, you know. So my plants don't like it, but you know, we negotiate. I keep it warm for them during the day when it's cold out. You know, I put the temperature up to like 70, 72, and then at night we drop it down, and you know, they can figure it out. They've evolved at this point in my apartment where, you know, they will deal with the colder temperatures at night, and if they don't deal with it, it ain't my problem, you know. So yeah, what does it get to where you are, where you live? Leave it in the comments below so I can see if I'm just being a baby, which most of the time I am. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to. I'm also gonna. Yeah, I wanted to use some Windex to not only get this kind of like old tape off here, but also just to. Maybe that's why they sent me 20 of these things to snap off, because they snap off. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that I just clean the windows in general, just so my plants can photosynthesize easier and not have any, you know, stuff in the way. Not only did, when I ordered this off of Amazon, did they send me like 20 of these razors, but they sent me, I think, upwards of like 80 to 100 of the plastic blades that come with it. See, and they just keep on popping off. Maybe I have to assume that's why, as I get hooked onto this door here. Fortunately, they're very easy to just clip back on. And they're not sharp either. It's plastic after all, but one can never be too certain. And we'll just continue with our little scrapage here. But yeah, I've been meaning to do this, and I had wanted to do it right at the beginning of October, but then I was just like, you know what, it'll be fine. It's not going to get that cold like right away. You know, it's Colorado. So guess what? It's all done. I have put the tape up, and if you're wondering to yourself, well, what do you mean, Kevin, it's all done? You put the tape up. We didn't see you put the tape up. Well, funny story. That's because I forgot to hit record. Not just on my iPhone, but also on my GoPro, so it is what it is. This is like the second or third time this has happened since I started this channel. Over 130 videos, and here we are again. So anyways, if you haven't already, please like this video, give it a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and select the notifications button so you can see more fun and interesting planty content like this. Next video, I'll make sure that I hit record throughout the whole thing. And that's when I'll see you guys next. Take care.